Talk about tangents. We've already talked about sine and cosine, but what is a tangent? Well, the tangent is the coordinate over the y coordinate over the x coordinate of an angle on the unit circle. This means that the tangent is also the ratio of sine over cosine of an angle on the unit circle. This means you have to divide fractions and you might have to rationalize your answer. Tangent can also be undefined or 0. So we're going to find the tangent of 30. Now remember, it's going to be y over x. So we go to 30, and my y is 1/2, and my x is square root 3 over 2. So we're going to go 1 divided by 2. All of that divided by square root 3 over 2. All right, well, that doesn't really work for us because we are going to have to simplify that. So we're going to end up with 1/2 times 2 divided by, don't want that. Exit, please. We're going to do all of that. Here we go. By square root 3. This is going to mean we're going to end up with 2 over 2 square root 3, which can be rationalized by multiplying the top and bottom by a square root 3 because we can't have that there. And 2 over 2 gives us 1. So we will end up with our final answer of square root 3. Okay, so it's just those rationalizing things. And we've already talked about some of the rationalizing. So we'll try to do them as we go here. So for 45, it ends up being square root 2 divided by 2 times square root 2 divided by 2. Luckily, that just equals 1. So that's pretty easy rationalizing. So what about 60 degrees? Now again, I looked this up. 60 degrees, we should be getting square root 3 divided by 2. And this is going to all be over all over 1/2. This is going to reduce the whole thing. We're going to go through, we flip them, multiply them out. This whole thing is going to give us square root 3. Okay, and actually this one over here, I forgot, square root 3 over 3. I lost one. Okay, tangent of 90. 90 ends up being 1 over 0. You can't have 0 on the bottom, so that becomes undefined. 180 becomes 0 over 1, which that just equals 0. So some of them are easier than others. Now, if we look at 240, we end up with negative 1/2. And that whole thing, negative 1/2, divided by other way, 1/2 is on the bottom. We end up with square root 3 over 2 divided by negative 1/2, and that's negative square root 3 over 2. Well, that ends up giving us a positive, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So it ends up giving us a positive square root 3. And 330, we end up with negative 1/2 divided by square root 3 over 2. Which ends up equaling negative square root 3 over 3. The nice things with these is we can look back to see them. So if you know a bunch of them, you know if you end up with 1/2 over square root 3 over 2, you end up with square root 3 over 3. You know if you end up with negative square root 2 over 2 over square root 2 over 2, you get 1. You know if square root 3 over 2 over 1/2, that gives you square root 3. Zeros on the bottom is undefined, 0 on the top is 0. So you don't have to do all of these over and over again if you remember them. You just have to watch those negatives. Negative divided by negative is a positive, but a negative divided by a positive is a negative. And if you've got those, you've got all the rest.